Hey, 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 hey. Hello and welcome to, yes, you guessed it, another episode of the Real Shot 256's Evening Crypto with your host, your boy, the Real Shot 256. And, as usual, per every Friday, bringing you the weekend edition of this cast. And tonight, I want to leave you with three things on the TI side of things. I'll get into those what to look for over the weekend, kind of in a shorter time frame of things. There's three things that I'll be looking for mainly, and I'll let you know what those are in a couple more minutes. I do have a little bit of a recap of what happened today with the Libra project. It seems like the Facebook Libra project is just falling to shreds. More companies, more initially what was thought of this conglomerate of many companies. Now you're starting to see that conglomerate fall apart, and participants are definitely leaving by the handful. So we'll get into that. And first of all, as usual, let's do a quick recap of the market. We are currently sitting at 224 billion, almost 225, and 24-hour volume is at 65 billion. Now, for our Bitcoin dominance chart, we are going to go to our trusty TradingView index here, which is pointing at about 69.09. If you've been following the channel, I was leaning towards this actually happening, where we would see an uptick in Bitcoin dominance, and then we'd start to see the pendulum swing. I did use the whole pendulum analogy in my last couple of videos, where the money is flowing back and forth like a pendulum. And we saw a lot of that money go into the altcoins, but now I think the pendulum is swinging back into Bitcoin, and we do see the Bitcoin dominance tick up just enough to help us think that, hey, that pendulum, the money is swinging back into Bitcoin, right? And we do see it here, right? So that is the current market state. Let's get into some of the news. I'm using theblockcrypto.com for tonight's episode. One thing I don't like about this, I mean, they're a very reputable, high quality content creator or dispenser, if you will. One thing I don't like is the fact that for these sort of news, you'd have to upgrade your membership with them and become a sort of a member, and you do have to pay a hefty membership fee, which I disagree with. But you know whatever. The real thing we wanted to talk about tonight is this guy right here, this piece of news here: Mercado Pago, Visa, eBay, Stripe, and others start to fall off of the bandwagon here. Mercado Pago, as we were saying, have become the latest 5 companies to officially depart from Facebook's Libra stablecoin project, following PayPal, according to several news outlets, the firm themselves, and the Libra Association website. Mercado Pago is one of the payments arm of Mercado Libra, a Latin American e-commerce giant. We highly respect the vision of the Libra Association. However, eBay has made the decision to not move forward as a founding member at this time. We are focused on rolling out eBay's managed payment experience for our customers, an eBay spokesperson tells The Block. Stripe is supportive of the projects that aim to make online commerce more accessible for people around the world. Libra has this potential. We will follow its progress closely and remain open to working with the Libra Association at a later stage, a Stripe spokesperson said to the Financial Times. Now, this seems like they kind of want to step back and kind of watch it form or watch it fall apart, and then make a decision whether they want to come back inside or not. I do think in the future, this will probably end up being more of a safe bet, more of a safe move, playing it sort of conservatively by Stripe here, by kind of sitting on the sidelines, keeping an open eye and just keeping an open mind about coming back in at a later time when Libra has definitely quiet some of those really pesky voices from Congress. You know who I'm talking about. Visa has decided not to join the Libra Association at this time. We will continue to evaluate, and our ultimate decision will be determined by a number of factors, including the association's ability to fully satisfy all requisite regulatory expectations, said Visa spokesperson. However, Visa said it still believes in the potential of blockchain. Visa's continued interest in Libra stems from our belief that well-regulated blockchain-based networks could extend the value of secure digital payments to a greater number of people and places, particularly in emerging and developing markets, the Visa spokesperson added. The five firms' decisions to leave comes a week after PayPal became the first company announced it was pulling out. The firms were 5 of the 28 inaugural Libra project members. Right. So, what do you guys think? Is this project still going to move forward? At this point, I don't mean to laugh at it, but at this point, it looks like it's on shaky ground. There was a meme rolling around with the Winklevosses twins kind of sitting back, watching this whole thing just fall apart. Where one of the Winklevosses says, "I thought I was going to feel better about this," and the other one says, "Nah, it's. I mean, it doesn't feel good. It's cringeworthy type of thing." So hopefully, because I do ultimately believe deep down that this can be a huge what's the word I'm looking for? Um, revelation, or a huge what's the other word I'm looking for? Well, we'll leave it at a huge revelation. And this could also put a lot of pressure on governments, on regulators to actually change their mind and their tune about cryptocurrencies in a way, because so far they've had, I mean, and yes, it's because Facebook is sort of backing this thing and really actually spearheading the thing. And we all know how governments and regulators feel about Facebook uh, when they're dropped the ball as far as keeping our information safe and breaking some rules and breaking some things over in Congress. So, again, I do believe that this could be good in overall for the future of cryptocurrencies. If Libra does, in fact, is able to, in fact, roll out its Libra coin and roll it out to, as this article says, to less fortunate or less developed countries, less developed economies, this can definitely be a game changer for those individuals in those areas. So let me know what you guys think. Do we think that this is actually going to take off? This is actually going to happen? Or maybe this is definitely not happening? So let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I'll leave the article link on the description of the video so you guys can click on it. All right, so let's get into the charts. And we'll try to keep it nice and simple tonight. It is the weekend. I know some of you guys are planning on, have great plans, and want to get the weekend started. So we'll keep it relatively short here and just give you 3 things that I'm looking for for the weekend, for the shorter time of things. Maybe into the weekend, maybe into next week, early on next week, like Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. We should see sort of these 3 things happen. Number one is I'm looking for a validation of the current formation that we're in. And by that, I mean this guy right here. Don't get overwhelmed. I know it's a busy chart, but we do need everything that's going on here. Let's actually zoom in so we can see a little bit better. But we are looking at 3 things: validation of the current formation, which is this sort of forming wedge right here, and then we are also looking out for Bitcoin to reach higher levels or higher prices. And the third thing is we're looking for an incoming dip. Now this dip should hold down here though, so further validating the this sort of symmetrical, or not symmetrical, but this wedge here. So number one and number three actually are kind of tied together, but then we can definitely say that we definitely want to watch what happens up here if we do breach above it again. As we did see a couple of days ago, we did see the price of Bitcoin jump to about what it was. It's 87.79, almost 87.80, and then being rejected from that area. And we actually got above the 200 EMA here, which was a huge psychological factor and just overall a game changer in the market. So if we were to actually get above it and hold for a while up there, I was looking for some 4-hour candles to actually close above this area here around 86, 86. We'll call it 86, 90, 8700. If we were able to hold that sort of price, then we could potentially look for continuation, right? So we have this wedge forming here. We want to make sure that this is validated by the incoming dip that I do think we should see here relatively soon. Again, within the next 4 to 5 days, we should see a dip. Well, that's kind of where I'm personally leaning, right? I'm leaning towards a dip down to retest this bottom area here around 7,850, right where the bottom of this here, these two candles here is. This looks like a bullish engulfing candle, and then we did see a continuation and run up in price all the way up to, what was the high of this? 80. So the high of this was 8,600. A little bit above that, 86.75, somewhere around there. And so now we are working our way down. And I do again want to see this area down here hold around 78.60. We'll call it 78.80. We want to see the price of Bitcoin hold this. I mean, if we wick below it, that's fine. So as long as we remain in close candles above this area here, again, we're looking for that validation that this is the trend, right? That we're looking for validation that we're within this wedge pattern here, and that we will continue to be in it. Now, why is that important? Because then that will tell us what we can expect for the next few weeks, maybe month or so, up until we get to about, I don't know, this point here, around first or second week of November, where we actually come in and fill, and then there is a pinch or a pressure to actually or pressure surmounting, or this whole consolidation area gets filled, and we do have a pressure mounting or building, and then we do see a determining move, whether it's us breaking down, Bitcoin breaking down, or Bitcoin breaking up. But at least we know now what to expect, and we'll know that once we see Bitcoin come down and retest this bottom area of support here within the wedge, then we do, naturally you're going to see that a bounce off of there, and then come back and retest the 0.5 up here, and then this descending area of resistance here that should be coming in around, what is it, low 8600s. And again, so that's what we're looking for. The other thing, again, number two, is if we do get above the 200 EMA here and start closing some significant candles above it, then we start to turn around. This is that same box that we're looking for within the 200 EMA. Again, closing some candles above this within this box here helps us turn our mindset around. But again, this is what we're looking for in the next few days. We're looking for validation of this, or actually a breakout and into this box here, which should give us continuation to the upside. Okay. So those are the three things. I guess I can add a fourth sort of a bonus here, that this sort of move is still could still be in play. That's why I'm leaving it there, because we could still see Bitcoin dip down below this area here. That's not out of the cards, and actually have the measured move play out down to within the 618 and about 7,130, right? That's kind of where we're looking at. 7126 to what is this, 7294, right where the 618 is coming in. So this again, could still happen. This even if we go, a few more days, a few more weeks into this, maybe once we get filled, that would also be very possible. I mean, and we would see that move at that point would definitely coincide with the 618 and have a lot of confluence, as opposed to us breaking down relatively quick or soon hereafter. And then we do see there's a little bit of confluence. I mean, there's sort of a channel of support right underneath the 618, at the 618, and down below, around at the bottom of this, again at the bottom of this measured move here around 71.26, right? Whether it happens now or it happens later, there is going to be confluence right around here at the 618. All right, so definitely looking for a bounce there if that is if the fourth scenario does happen. Okay. All right. So we're looking at the daily here. And the daily is letting us know also that, within the RSI, we did get a tick or a cross to the downside here on the red exponential. It's coming back down to retest this bottom area of the neutral control zone. And we should have a retest of the 21. That's where I mean we should be coming down here to retest this bottom area of support. Because again, it takes a while for this daily RSI to flip around like it did right now. It takes definitely some volume and some conviction, as we do see that the volume is stepping up above the exponential here within the volume signature. So that means that there's a little bit. I mean, not too much, right? I mean, but it is poking its head up above the 21 the volume exponential here. So that means there is some conviction behind this move, and we do see by a sort of a drastic turnaround and flip downward into, again, deeper into the neutral zone here within the RSI. We could maybe initially see a bounce off the 21 here and a slight bounce on the way down to, again, to this bottom area of support. All right, so that's what the daily is telling us. Again, I do pay more attention to this because it is a longer time frame than per se an hour, 2 hour, 4 hour time frame. So again, there's a lot of things that could happen in between on the shorter time frames. But again, for the longer play, the longer term of things, I do think we should be heading down into this bottom area. Again, coming in around 7,860, somewhere around there. All right, let's look at the 4 hour, see what the 4 hour is doing. On the 4 hour, we do see, this wick here trying to get at the 200, but failing. But we certainly got into the box, right? As we were saying on the daily chart, we reached into this target area here, but then it was just a wick. It was really quick. It was a really quick rejection off of this area here around 87.77, and then we quickly came back down. I honestly got a little excited once we got past this point here, where the last pivot high here and this area of resistance up here was coming in, and then we saw a really quick move up to 87.77, and that got me a little bit excited, thinking that this might be the breakout move and we were actually going to reach to the 200 or this previous area of support here. Let's actually turn this around and flip it over to red. We haven't done that. Don't know why. Let's see. There we go. All right. So, yeah, I think in that we were going to reach up to the 200 and maybe get into the previous, somewhere around this area here, around say 8,900, 8,800, 8,900, and start flipping around our mentality as far as are we going to keep going upwards and have a continuation, or actually break down and come back into this formation. And we do see here again a quick rejection within the box, coming back down. I mean, fiercely. I mean, look at this candle. I mean, look at how it closed. I was actually awake and trying to trade this thing, and it was just a massive green candle all the way up here, and then we ended up turning all the way down and closing this one at 83.87. The high was 87.79, 83.59 is where we closed. That is about a $420 price swing. Right, so I mean, these things can be volatile. That's why you have to be careful with these things, right? All right, so the 4 hour, RSI is also in confluence with the daily. I like to see that. This is definitely something that gives us confluence and gives us a little bit more confidence on what is to come. So I do like that I'm seeing this confluence here with the 4 hour and the daily, right? So again, kind of pointing down towards lower levels. Right now, we are sort of in the middle of this wedge here. Um, I mean, what's not to say that we do have a bounce here and come back and retest again before actually coming back down and retest it. That is also another possibility. But again, testing resistance and would also be good for the bull case, right? Because if we do retest this previous line of descending line of resistance here, it tends to get weaker and weaker as we come back and retest it. But also, if we keep rejecting, that could also be a bad thing in a bear market. But since we are sort of still in the mentality that we are in a bullish market, coming back to retest this could also be a bullish sign, right? But we definitely need to get above this descending line of resistance and start closing some significant candles like 4 hours or above within this blue box here. Right. If we do that, then we can start to flip our minds around and think that okay, maybe we do have continuation, and then from there we can look at the 200 here at around 8,900. We can look at the that level as a possibility, right? It is also coming into confluence with the previous area of resistance, previous area of support here will now act as resistance. If we do get above that again, more continuation to the upside, right? Until told otherwise, but that's what we would be looking at. All right. I'm actually going to get rid of this here because it can actually, so it looks cleaner and can confuse some people there. So, all right. So that's the 4 hour. Let's see what we find on the 3 hour. 3 hours in confluence with the 4 hour, definitely in the bear territory. We are currently above the 200 simple, but we're struggling to get back above the 55 here, the 55 EMA. And here we have the 21, the 100, and the 30 simple coming in confluence right at 83.71. There's going to be a lot of sell pressure there coming in at 83.66, right where these three EMAs are coming, or EMS and SMAs are coming in at. So it's gonna be really tough. It's gonna require a big effort on the buyer side for us to get above that. And then if we do, we can come back and retest that previous area of resistance up there. Let's look at the 2 hour real quick. 2 hours in confluence, still within the bear control zone here. Does look like it wants to tick above the red exponential there, but not quite. I mean, we could end up flattening out. So this tells me that there's room for more sideways trading. But again, I am leaning towards coming back and retesting this bottom area of support here. That seems like the more likely scenario out of the two. 1 hour. What is the 1 hour giving us here? 1 hour is saying that it's trying to bounce. 1 hour is trying to bounce. Let's actually zoom in here quite a bit. And we're being rejected by the 200. Yeah, we are finding rejection by the 200. The 30 simple is coming in right along the 21. I mean, there's just a lot of confluence there with between the SMAs and EMAs, which again will act as selling pressure there. So I mean, it's going to take a big, huge effort again on the bull side to get above these and come back and retest the previous area. So in a way, the 1 hour EMAs and SMAs are telling us that there's a lot of selling pressure, right? Okay, we could actually flip this around in no time. Let's look at the weekly real quick and see what's going on here. Yeah, I mean, again, the 21 coming in confluence here with this previous area of resistance here, or at one point it used to be support, then it's now turned into resistance. And look at Bitcoin. I mean, is this a test of this area here? I mean, it's iffy, right? If it's a test, it's iffy. I mean, there's quite a bit of gap here between what is this here, 89.77. On top of this is 87.90. Yeah, I mean, there's almost $200 worth of price action there. It's I mean, no, not quite a retest. It's more of a Yeah, I mean it's in between there, more of a in between the 100 simple and 21 there. Now again, the 21 on the weekly is a huge factor because again, as long as we're below it, typically that just tells us that we could be due for more pressure to the downside on the weekly, which is again another indicator that validates my whole theory about us coming back down and retesting this area. And again, this move here within this the wedge here, this would be the measured move that is still in play, right? Because that as long as we're below that 21 on the weekly, and I'm sure you've heard this elsewhere, as long as we're below it, we're going to find a lot of pressure downward. But then if we flip above it, then then that's good news. Really good news. Now the 21, I believe the 4-hour 200 do have some confluence. Yeah, we do have some confluence there. So, the more weight we should be putting on, again, this weekly 21 here, because it is coming in with confluence with the 400, I'm sorry, the 4-hour 200 EMA. All right, so again, if we break above the 21, then that'd be a great sign for the bulls. If we don't, then it means we should have more continuation to the downside, right? Okay, all right. Let's see. We are going to close this weekly candle Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So look out for that. We are deep into the bear territory right now, even though we are bouncing from the weekly standpoint. We are definitely deep into the bearish control zone. So we definitely want, if on the weekly we start turning this around, then we start to get a little bit more bullish. But I do think there's a little bit more ways down to go before we can say that. Let's actually have a quick look at the monthly, and then we'll move on to, I do want to talk about Chainlink and follow that up because it's been hotter than hell. So on the monthly, the one thing I really care about, and we have to go to our Bitstamp chart for the monthly. Right. So the one thing I do care about quite a bit on the monthly is the RSI here dipping down below the 21 exponential here. I do want to see it flip around by the end of the month if we are to remain bullish on Bitcoin long term, right? For the end of the year, right? If we do break back above the 21 EMA here on the RSI, I do think we can potentially come back and definitely retest these areas over here around 11,500 ish, where the 0.5 is coming in at. That becomes the next target in my eyes on the monthly again. And then if we break above it, the 382 at 13,400, we'll round it up, or this, right where these two monthly candles are at, which are, well, let's just look at the close of this one at 13,880. Okay, so that'll be the next area where again, if we are to come back around and get above the 21 here on the RSI, then that's kind of where we are turning our eyes to. But right now, this monthly, I mean, just looks like looking like a spinning doji right here. I just find that kind of funny, but I don't think we're gonna end up right where we are. I mean, there's plenty of days left in this month, plenty of couple more weeks left in this month. So I mean, there's plenty of room for a big move up or down, right? Now the monthly is above the 21 to 30. I mean, pretty much above everything, every moving average. So that is still a bullish posture, right? We're still within that. And again, just to recap on my latest theory here, as long as we're within this formation here, we're still not thinking we're ultra bearish, right? Because again, this is a rising trend of support here. So if we come back and retest this blue box here, coming in at call it $5,000, 5,100, we're still okay. We should have a bounce there, and even if we come down and retest, say 4,500, still we're still within the trend. So not too shabby there. Of course, a lot of people don't like me saying that, but in my eyes, that is still a possibility. That is quite a possibility, and that also means that you can potentially get your hands on more Bitcoin at a discounted price. All right, so let's actually look at Link. We're going to go to the daily, and we're currently holding this box. Okay, on the daily. This is important, guys. We'll take a look at the shorter time here in just a bit because it does tell sort of a different story. But this is very important. As long as we're holding this box, then the 382 where this blue box is, then that is our next target, and that would be coming in at around 298, $3 even. That will be our next target as long as we're holding this box. If we lose the box here, like we did here, we lost it momentarily, but then we regained it right away on the next day, right? The next daily candle. And it looks like we're finding support within the box here. So that is crucial. That is huge for Link. This right in here, right now at 273, kind of is telling of the story that we might come back. Now this is still a high risk trade. But if you feel like if you feel lucky and have a couple extra $100 to like throw at it and see what happens, then there you go. Not financial advice, but this is looking like a high risk but high reward trade, right? And then from there, I mean, I don't think we would actually stop there if we close some significant candles, especially like a daily above this area. I think we do find continuation to about right here, about $3.16, right? That would be the next target. Let's actually, for futures sake, not futures contracts, but for the outlook of things, so that way we can later claim that, hey, I told you guys about this, right? As I did tell you when I first, I think we were down here somewhere when I first put these boxes up here as targets, and we actually hit them both, even though we didn't actually close any candles within this area, but we did hit both targets. All right, now let's look at the 4-hour. The daily actually looks like it wants to retest the bottom of the bullish control zone here. Hopefully we'll get a bounce and continuation to this box here. 4-hour. 4-hour again within the box. I mean, we lost a few of them. It was looking like we were going to lose it and just come back. As I was saying, I did tell you guys there was a correction here coming, right? I mean, there was no surprise. That was definitely coming. We do see the 21 actually holding it. I mean, just like textbook on the 4-hour, just holding it nicely, just cradling it, and just pampering it all the way up. And now we are seeing that we're staying above the 21 and the 30 simple on the 4-hour. Trading still within this blue box, right? So that gives us sort of the impetus to think about the 382 here, this box. So the 4-hour is in confluence, I believe. Yeah, as long as we get a bounce here, we'll be in full confluence, I think, with the 4-hour, with what the 4-hour is trying to do here. Now, again, we want to see a bounce on the RSI on the daily, and we want to see the 4-hour get above the 21 EMA here on the RSI down here where my cursor is. We want to see the green exponential and the red exponential get above the 21 and actually keep going upwards to this here. So if we do see on the 4-hour, if we do see even if it's on a shorter time frame like a 4-hour, that would mean that there is potential for a scalp here to the 382 around 298 $3, and then we'll reassess from there. Okay, so let's look at the 3-hour. See if the 3-hour is, 3-hour. Look at that. 3-hour is also looking like it wants to actually do it. I do want to see a little bit more volume though. There's some indecision here. That tells me there's some indecision here. Although the 3-hour is looking pretty bullish here on the RSI, especially looking like it wants to break through onto the bullish control zone, and that would mean that we do get a little bit, maybe another try into the blue box up here, right where this one. The high of this one was at 295, so we could actually retest this 295 within the blue box there. Again, I just want to see a little bit more volume. I do want to see the RSI tick up into the bullish control zone and let the bulls just take full control of this one. All right. Okay, so I think I am going to leave it there. Everything else was kind of looking dull. I mean, ETH was just it's just following the same thing that Bitcoin is doing. Litecoin is actually following the same thing Bitcoin and Ethereum is doing, but to a lesser extent, to where there's less volatility. So I mean, it just looks boring to me. BNB, one for Steve. Yeah, sorry, Steve. I mean, mm, I mean, lately there's been more volatility. Although this is sort of like a 20%, 20 to 22% move from this bottom here to this top. So I mean, it's not too bad, but I mean, as of right now, it does look like it's just playing and doing whatever the big guys are doing. Um, yeah, I mean, if you want something that has higher risk but higher reward potential, Link might be a good play. Um, let's see what EOS is doing. Doing the exact same thing. Uh, VeChain's doing the exact same thing. XLM's doing the exact same thing. Same thing. I mean, you might venture out to like Algo. One was having a tremendous last few days, last week or so. You might find those. I don't know if you guys care about those, but I did take a look earlier, and those guys, were having some good moves. One and Algo are both within the Binance platform. So if you guys are still trading on there, you could find those tokens there. All right, guys. So I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys think of the content so far. I do want to let you guys go into the weekend with this thought. If you guys are having some trouble and just some difficulties, maybe some challenges trading these markets, make sure that you let your determination be bigger than your frustration. I know these markets can be frustrating. I know that firsthand. I've been through what you guys are going through if you're having a hard time. So, just want to let you guys know, keep at it. The next trade might be the good one, might be the right one. But just keep learning, keep at it. Don't give up. Success is always just around the corner. Just keep that in mind. Let your determination be bigger than your frustration. Hope you got something out of this video in exchange for your time here today. Please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you do get reminded of these videos whenever I put them out. All right, guys. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much.